Hey guys, this is Elliot Wave Sage. I want to go ahead and do a quick AMC GME update. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for your education and entertainment purposes. So my last update was looking for some kind of counter trend rally higher and then another low. We didn't really understand at the point of my last video what the structure was going to morph into. I was thinking at first that we were still in this Y leg, and this Y leg would extend even after a small bounce, and this bounce here would be within the Y. But what happened is the bounce got extended too far, so we actually ended this cycle here. But with that lower low break right here, you knew that this became another connector. So this connector for this entire move, and that got you set up for another 3 legs down, which is what you saw here in 3, and then 3, and then an ABC to finish it off here. It also, to get these target areas that we have highlighted here, which is where we rallied from today, you do a Fibonacci extension on the 236 to get 1788. That was like literally almost to the penny of where we did bounce and reversed. We also could do the extension in the final leg, an equal distance extension of A and B, and that gets you down to about 1808. So my thought process, seeing that take place yesterday, was not to wait too long. I wanted to just get a position because one of the things I was looking for also was to correlate it with the bottom of the Russell. So if I go to the Russell index, the IWM is the best index for that. We saw here we had a pretty steep decline. This decline was expected. My last video, we marked the 1 here. We had the AB, and once we had C, this is kind of where I wanted to buy in this area. Why did I pick this area? Well, this is the wave 3 cluster, and typically you retrace the entire 5 and find support on the 4. So this is kind of where I was looking for, 202-ish area, 201, maybe even 200. So we didn't get quite low enough, but it was such a severe decline. I figured we'd get a counter trend bounce, which is what we did get today. So this is why I thought it was marking the bottom and a good time to get an entry yesterday. What we saw today in GME was basically people buying against the current, the trend. The trend was higher on the Russell. They were trying to short into that, going against the current, and they just got overcome by the current, the overall force of the market. And as I always say, you always want to swim with the tide and not swim against the tide. And that was the whole idea, because the Russell Index is driven by a lot of these small caps, and for some reason it does govern the underlying behavior and overall direction of GME. We see that time and again. It's not a 1-for-1 correlation, but if the Russell is in a sequence higher, and if we believe the Russell Index is going to actually make this wave 3 move, which I believe is coming to break this inverse head and shoulders continuation and come to 255, 260 eventually, I would want, it's almost a certainty GME and AMC will benefit from that regardless of the individual stock news or charts, just by being a beneficiary of the indice. Now when you add in the news and the chart itself, that's where you get these 20-25% gains. So where are we now with GME here? Actually, before we get into that, I want to point out a couple things. How did we know this leg is so short? How do we know it's finished? So you do have this shallow connector with a lower low sequence for a 3-wave move, and now you've curved, you're turning the corner on the 4-hour. It's still not all clear, but the 45-minute is very clear. Again, you made a lower low on the RSI. This is perfect for a 3-wave bottom, not a 5-wave look. So this is truncated. So this RSI signified why it was time to get more aggressive and buy again. So here again, if I draw the peak, you could see the RSI clean break. We're probably in a new 45-minute cycle higher, and then potentially a new 4-hour cycle higher. So we should see we should see it continue higher in the coming weeks. Now, what could the only thing that I could see that could throw that off is if the Russell decides to take a double correction lower and go deeper in wave 2. That may be the only reason that I can really think of that could drop GME if it does, or AMC if it does something like this. This can't be ruled out until we get 5 off the low. We don't have that, so we just don't know. It didn't, like I said, it went deep enough, but it could. I would have liked to see it go a little deeper. It didn't do that. We also have in the Dow Jones 5 waves down from the high here, making that 5th wave today. So either it's a flat and then it's completed in 2, or I have to put the 1 here and here, and then we have an A, a B, and we'll get a C, which should bring everything down. So it's a really tricky forecast to know if we're going to get this double correction or not. But if we do, then I do think GME and AMC are at risk potentially for a break lower, and we'll need to see how divergence plays out, if it becomes a wave 4 or 5 what we're in, or it becomes a triple and we erase divergence for a 3rd time. So right now, though, I believe the cycle is over on this downtrend. As you could see, we knew we ended the first leg down here. We started a new downtrend. Here's right there, that downtrend. Now this broke after hours, so that downtrend is over. But more importantly, we saw today the smaller degree downtrend also break. And as soon as we did that, that's when it generated a lot of momentum for the market to go higher. So I always try to take the most bullish interpretation of these charts. And right now, this looks like a 1-2 and a wave 3 of 3 was playing out. It looks like that played out after hours. I think I saw a trade even above this pivot here at 23.39. I think it traded almost up to $24 potentially. So, you know, if I had to after our price action, I think we dropped back down. So maybe some kind of wave 4. We'll see how we open up on Tuesday. But this is kind of the count that I'm looking for right now in GME. We are in some kind of 3 of 3 on the first wave out, but a lot of people are already dreaming about new highs, and you can't think of the market as new highs and how high can it go. You need to think about how much can you lose. So how much can you lose? It depends on your entry against 1770. So my stop loss will now be moved to 1770 here, if I got that right. So pretty much I'm just going to play this long until the market decides to take me out of the trade. And I don't, and whatever I make, I make. I don't care how high it goes. It's going to go high because I'm going to be in it for a while until the market conditions change, until the Russell hits that IWM 250 area. Then I may start thinking about pulling back and taking profits. But here, you can also see this left shoulder, this head forming, and right shoulder and out for a really good reversal. There's a gap here. There's some gaps. You know, I think even a gap. So I believe all those gaps will fill. And then what happens after that is anyone's guess. Will come up, will fill them. That's what I'm hoping for. And there, you can never rule out another leg lower. So you can never rule out a bigger WXY correction, right? You cannot rule something like this out. That is always a possibility. That's why I don't worry about too much where, you know, how high, because it can go here, it can go here, it can come up here, it can even go to new highs and break this high. We just don't know. But what I do know is this low is pretty solid, because if it breaks, now you're going to have a connector for this entire move, and that should take us down to these lower 13 and even lower levels if that breaks, if this breaks. I think some news dropped after hours too that really drove it. Here you could see the impulse. Once we broke this high here at 1881 in the afternoon, you pretty much knew the correction was over, because then you had 5 swings up, and that's kind of how we ended it. So like I said, I can't get too excited. It is just after hours action. We need to see where we open, but more than likely, looking at the 45 and 4-hour cycles, we are going to start to enter a new 4-hour, 45-minute cycle higher, and we'll see where we go from there. The daily cycle also has a lot of room to run as well. So I do like this opportunity, and I think you also filled this gap here, right? From this point on, this filled that gap. So a lot of technical confluence right around here that just kind of came together. AMC's different chart, guys. AMC actually, like GME, ended the correction here, imbalanced, and made another low in Y here, and finished out. Again, if I go to the 4-hour here, you could see massive RSI reset here. 45-minute, I believe, is a little bit different. I think I like the 4-hour is good. Now, this peak is slightly no erasure or divergence, but it's close enough for me to call it a low and correlate it with GME. So I still like that as a bottom, as a swing bottom here on this chart for AMC here. And of course, obviously, we came out and we've oh, my bad here. So sorry, I got disoriented on my chart. Let's start with AMC again. Yeah, I just got a little disoriented on my chart for AMC. So let's go back here. Okay. So there's your low. Lowest peak, that's your bottom, and then the 4-hour should look the same way. If I look at it right here, right there, your low right there. As long as it's the lowest peak in the downward cycle, even though it did make a lower low here, that doesn't matter. It's just this peak needs to be the lowest peak on the downtrend for a 3-wave move. So we have the 3-wave move. We have this 3-wave move, and now we're coming out in a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and I believe we're going to come out and should explode higher. I do believe here we're actually seeing a lot of support, more than even GME. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3 back, another 5 up, another 3 back, another 5 up, and now hopefully we launch. That's the idea for AMC, guys. That's what we're looking for, and I don't, and this one did not make another swing low here. It stayed supported in this kind of 1-2, 1-2 setup. So a little bit different look in AMC, and again, how high can it go? Not really too concerned. It could easily come back to $8, $9, but what I'd be more worried about is this low needs to hold at 432. So as long as your stop loss is at 432, it's still good. If that breaks, then it's just a big connector, and we should then take a pretty big swing lower. And then I would be looking for $2.94, $3 gap fill here. That's probably where I would expect it to go. So that's the setup for now, and we'll have to wait and see if this ends up being a big connector that runs up to $8 and then goes down later, or this is it. This is the bottom. The bottom happened here on May 17th. GME's was yesterday, or I'm sorry, today, this morning's price action. So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out, guys. But that's my update now. I do believe these cycles are over. We're in a new bullish cycle in these stocks here. Let's take another look at AMC on the 4-hour, and you can see we just broke through that. More importantly, we've since broken through that. So we have been in these new 4-hour cycles here. Let's look at the 45-minute. The 45-minute we've broken through on the shorter time frame. We clearly ended this downtrend, that downtrend. So how about on the 15-minute? Here again, this downtrend ended. We're still in the uptrend, is intact. The 4-hour uptrend here is intact. I don't see that having broke yet. And so that's how I look at this. So yeah, I think AMC was at a crucial moment. It could have broke down hard, but I believe with GME running, that may, in sympathy, support it and keep this from dropping. I think it was gonna drop, and it didn't end up doing that. So here's how it goes. So that's the count. I think this was trading around $5 for now, so we'll need to wait and see how it plays out on Tuesday. But if it runs with GME, this should be some kind of turn-in, bottom-in process that will allow us to recover out of this, and then hopefully run in the first wave off the low here, this major low here at 434. Okay, guys, so that's what I've got for GME and AMC. It looks like both cycles have ended. Again and again, we had ended it here. It still failed. So nothing to say we can run and have another failure, cycle failure, which will bring it lower. But eventually, I do believe this wave 2 will end if it hasn't already. Set us up for wave 3, which should surpass this peak here at $65. And of course, everyone's like, when's that going to happen? Well, we don't know when, but it more than likely will happen. Normally, we'll get at least one, even if it's a corrective move, we should get one more swing up that will break this peak to either have a corrective move and go to zero, which most bears want, or it won't, and will impulse, and then it will never look back, and it'll be a massive short squeeze again in it. So this is the setup, and that's how I played it, guys. And we'll have to wait and see how we open Tuesday, if we can hold some of these after-hour gains, and if we can, then I think it's pretty much certain that we hit a major low today in GME. All right, guys, that's it.